What's good? Welcome to my underrated fight series. Today I will be talking about Derrick Jefferson versus Maurice Harris, which took place on November 6th, 1999 on an HBO card, which the main event was Rahman versus Mashaev. I believe he was a Russian guy. And that's the fight where Rahman was knocked outside of the ring through the table. And then I believe someone threw a chair at a judge and chaos ensued. So this was a very good card on HBO in the late 90s. Now, Derrick Jefferson entered this fight at 21-0 with one draw, 17 knockouts. So he was the bigger puncher and the bigger guy. He had also beaten Burt Cooper and Obed Sullivan. Solid guys. And Maurice Harris entered this fight at 16-9-2. Now, at a glance, his record doesn't look too good, but we got to remember that he started his professional career at 16 years old, and a lot of these losses came early in his career. Despite his record, he was the one with more experience in the professional level because Jefferson hadn't become pro until he was 27. He started boxing at 24 years old. Harris had about 10 years of professional fighting. I believe he was 24, so about 8 years fighting professionally at this point. He also had fought an old Larry Holmes, and many thought that he beat him, but he lost a controversial decision. And he also sparred, they said, hundreds of rounds against Roy Jones and Lennox Lewis. So he was on a high horse from sparring Roy Jones, legends like Roy Jones and Lennox Lewis. But come the first round, even though Jefferson was hurt by Harris's left hook, he showed that he was not impressed by Harris's sparring experience or even his fight with Larry Holmes. He knew that he was a bigger guy and he needed to push forward. He also knew that he was a harder puncher and that he could finish Harris at really any time not any time he wanted, but this fight could end anytime during this fight. And it showed in the second round when he landed a devastating left hook right on Harris's chin, and Harris fell. Harris fell like he wasn't getting up. He fell on his back. The back of his head was against the bottom rope, and he just gave this look like he wasn't getting up. But he got up, and when Harris got up, Jefferson smartly banged the body, and that obviously opened up Harris's head to Jefferson, and he dropped him again, dropped him on his face, and again it looked like Harris's legs were gone and that he wasn't gonna get up, but he got up. He got up again, and Jefferson went for the kill, but Harris caught Jefferson coming in with a straight right and a left hook, which dropped Jefferson while he was going in for the kill. Now, this round 3 for me is a classic, and it should be mentioned among the great heavyweight rounds of all time because man, these guys were going at it this whole round, and while it looked like Jefferson was gonna knock out Harris, and it looked like Harris was done, he was still in this fight all the way. Now, despite being hurt and dropped in the second round, Jefferson knew he was still a stronger fighter in this fight, so he still pressed forward throughout the third round, landed a huge right uppercut on Harris that sent Harris's mouthpiece flying. Now, that was a blessing in disguise because Steve Smoger stopped the action, and yes, it was Steve Smoger who was refereeing the fight, which explains why he didn't stop the fight in the second round, even though there was a bunch of people ringside that were signaling him to stop the fight in that second round. And it was a blessing to us boxing fans that we had Steve Smoger referee this fight. But Jefferson sent Harris's mouthpiece flying, and it wouldn't be the last time Harris's mouthpiece was sent flying in this fight, just to let you guys know. But it was a blessing in this third round because Smoger stopped the fight, gave the mouthpiece to the corner. You know the drill. Had to clean it, put it back in Harris's mouth, and he survived this round. Now, rounds 4 and 5 were a lot of Jefferson just pushing Harris around, but we still know that Harris was dangerous and that he could hurt and possibly knock out Jefferson. Even though he was a smaller man, he still had the power to hurt Jefferson because he hurt him in the first round and he hurt him at the end of the second round. In round 6, though, Jefferson once again knocks down Harris with a right and a left hook combination, sent Harris falling right on his face, man. I am amazed when fighters get up from such devastating knockdowns that look like they're not getting up, because most fighters that get dropped on their face don't get up, especially multiple times like Harris did that night. Now, Jefferson thought he had Harris, but Harris lands a hard left hook that hurts Jefferson. Now, Harris thinks that he has Jefferson hurt and that he's going in for the kill. But another momentum change, guys. And this will be the last one of the fight. Harris lands a huge heavyweight left hook right on the button. Oh man, this punch twists Harris's head like the freaking exorcist and sends this mouthpiece flying all the way to the first row, man. And I know most of you have seen this knockout in boxing's greatest knockout highlights and bunch of highlight videos, but maybe you don't know these guys' names, but I think you will recognize this call by Larry Merchant. He says, "Derrick Jefferson, I love you." You could hate Larry Merchant all you want, but you could never say that he wasn't passionate about the sport or that he didn't love what he did. Man, this was a fight. This was a heavyweight shootout of the 90s and one of the most underrated fights of the 90s. This is what heavyweight boxing should be. When the heavyweight division produces fights like this on a consistent basis, the sport is in a very healthy place. Now, this was not the only very good fight in this card. As I said before, Rahman versus Mashaev was a pretty good fight and had I don't know which fight had the better ending, man. Some guy getting knocked out of the ring through a table, WWF style at the time, or this fight, Derrick Jefferson, I love you. Man, this was a good fight. Thanks everybody for watching. What are some underrated fights you could think of and that you would like to see me do videos on? Peace.